where this story is going. Right? After we read through the facts, we then want to make assumptions. What are assumptions, Chris?
Like a guess that you can guess from because through the context of the story.
Okay, so from the context of the story, we're taking an educated guess about what we think is going to happen, followed by questions. Right? And for this time, where you see questions, I'd also like for you to write statement. Right? Underneath where it says questions, I'd also like for you to write statements. And so I'll show you that on the board. So just underneath, where it says questions, right, you can also write statements underneath. And so for this story, you may have enough evidence to make an educated statement in which that you believe is true. All right, so you're either asking yes or no questions or making a statement. Okay? Are we good? All right, everybody's pen in hand. I'll start reading in 3, 2, 1. Brutal bloodshed and disputes over land have characterized the 12th century for you and your people thus far. All right, and hearing the first sentence, right, what are two facts that we could have written down? Carissa.
The 12th century.
Excellent. So right now we have a context clue, a time period in which this happened. So when does the 12th century take place?
1100s.
11 to 1199. So now we have a time in which this story takes place. What else could we have written down that gives us some information? Haley.
It's about brutal bloodshed.
Okay, there's brutal bloodshed. Right, so we have an idea of what could be happening in this story. So as active readers, right, I want you to be thinking of not only the facts that we're gathering, but the assumptions that we can make, right, based on that. So we have the 12th century and brutal bloodshed. You have seen men get their heads cut off and others shot from towers and garrisons with flaming arrows. One of your brothers was tortured by being cast into burning flames while alive, and you have been forced to pick your way over the bodies of men and horses, with blood up to your knees, while inside the dome of the rock. Your home, the sacred city of Jerusalem, was plagued by death and chaos. Luckily, a new, steadfast, and fearless leader has brought stability and excitement to the faithful in recent years. He has encouraged us to take up arms against the non-believers and to defend our right to our sacred holy land. It is, after all, Allah's wishes for us to follow the tenets of jihad and to protect the crescent and the star. The prophet had said, God loves courage, even in the killing of a serpent. I will do my part to defend my faith. On the day of the great battle, our army set out from Jerusalem to the great city of Acre. Once there, I saw the familiar red cross adorned on the flags and shields of our enemies approaching us. I had heard rumors of our enemy being led by a new great leader, similar to our own. But have faith in Allah that we will help your side to defeat the blasphemers once again. Time will only tell what the end result will be. All right, I'd like for you to take an additional minute. All right, record any facts. All right, any facts you can.
Hooray!
No.
All right, the awkward hooray. Can I have someone record for me that hasn't got a chance? Chris, you want to come up? All right, if I can have, I'll start right from Paul's side here. Go Brett, Phil, and Haley. Let's get 4 facts. All right, that we can. 4 what we saw as key facts in the story. Paul, what was one fact that stood out for you?
This man is making references to Allah, which is the Islamic God.
Okay, so we have our fact, right? The references to Allah, right? For the assumption, right? What may be an assumption that we could think of now that we've seen the mention of Allah? Haley, what's assumption that we could make?
That the speaker is Muslim.
Excellent. Right, did anybody else get that when they were going through the story? Just a show of hands. If you got that you thought the reader was Muslim. Yes? Good? All right. Another fact, Brett, that you had here.
The enemies have red crosses on their flags and shields.
Excellent. All right, so the enemies had red crosses. All right, so now think to yourself, this could be another, right, prediction or assumption that you can make. All right, we'll kind of keep that in the back of our mind, all right, for the rest of the story. Phil?
This is taking place in 12th century Jerusalem.
Excellent. So we have time, 12th century, right? We have the place, Jerusalem, right? Where specifically was he talking about in Jerusalem? Right, did anybody else get, Shania, did you get where it specifically was? Well, they traveled to Accra, but where in Jerusalem was the story taking place, Julian?
At the that rock place.
Dome of the Rock.
The Dome of the
Right,
Rock.
so the rock place, right, the Dome of the Rock. All right, so somebody fill me in on some background about the Dome of the Rock. What information do we have that there's going to be an importance with the Dome of the Rock? Got it? What do you got? Holy place? Okay, it's a holy place for what three religions, Chris?
Well, I was gonna say the Islamic religion, because with the Islamic religions, that's where supposedly they think that Muhammad ascended into the heavens.
All right, to do what?
To go meet the angel Gabriel, I believe.
Right, Angel Gabriel, and speak to Allah, in which you would then receive, right, the word of Allah. Why might it be important to Judaism? Paul?
Because it's also believed to be the rock upon where Abraham was going to sacrifice his son to God.
All right, excellent. And for Christians, why may the city of Jerusalem be important as well? Paul on the follow-up.
Alright, so Jesus did his teachings in Jerusalem, and he was crucified in Jerusalem.
Okay, so the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, right, the Abraham sacrificed his son Isaac, then you also had Muhammad ascending to speak to Allah. So you have three major religions in one location. Right? Another fact that stood out for you. Tony.
The people they're fighting, they fought them before because this is the familiar Red Cross.
Excellent. Awesome. Notice how Antonio took a fact and then made an assumption. They must have fought before because the cross was familiar to them. Abby, something like that.
With the Dome of the Rock, it would be easy for all three of them to fight over, because the Dome of the Rock, they all started. It was the base of all three religions, so all three would want to keep it to themselves. So that would cause dispute, and that would probably break out in a war if it got bad enough.
Good. Paragraph 2. Looking at paragraph 2. What is something that stood out, a fact or a piece of evidence that we gathered? Anyone from the center section here? Paragraph 2. Julian, you got one?
It's not really from paragraph 2. I guess it kind of carries over. But I said that they are fighting over land and religion.
Okay, land and religion are extremely important part in this. Marcello.
Allah was a fearless leader.
Okay, said.
Stability and extermination and faith.
Okay, so there was a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a leader that was steadfast, right, and fearless. And then from paragraph 3, any other facts that you want to have reported? Paul?
There's also another leader leading the other side, which may very well be Christian.
Excellent.
The crosses.
All right, that's what I want.
Jews bearing the cross.
That's where I want you to go from, Haley. One more that you wanted to add for the
I just
fact?
have a question.
Let's keep that question, and then we'll come to that when we get to the question. What I want you to do now is take a minute and come up with 3 assumptions, because right now we have some foundations for some excellent facts. Right? You did a very good job with that. Now, what assumptions can we make? What educated guesses can we make about where the story is going? I want you to take 1 minute, write down 3 assumptions. All right, a minimum of 3 assumptions. Some of you have already started, so take that minute. 3 assumptions. Go. Thank you. For those of you that have already got your 3 assumptions, if there's questions that you're thinking of, write them down while you're thinking of them. He has encouraged us. Oh, that can be a question that you asked. Right, so if you don't know what the non-believers are, say what are the non-believers. Okay.
Is that really the assumption?
They have seen the red flags before, so what's your assumption? If
They
it's-
saw before.
There you go. Good. James, there you go, Frank. Good. I'm gonna start with you on the assumptions, all right? All right, for the assumptions, I saw a couple good ones. We'll go rapid fire. I'll take 5. I'm gonna start with James. We'll go Marcello, Julian, Paul, and let's go Abby. All right, James.
They're fighting those who do not believe in the Muslim religion.
Excellent. So the fighting that is happening are those against non-believers, right? Is that the piece of evidence that you grabbed there? All right, Julian.
Yeah, I said pretty much the same thing, that they were fighting against people who didn't believe in the Islamic religion, and that they were possibly fighting Christians because of the red flags on
Right, we have
the.
the evidence of
The
the
red
red
flags
flag.
on the
Good. Marcello.
The great battle was a fight
Great battle is a fight where?
in Jerusalem.
Right. Main fighting goes on in Jerusalem. They travel to Acre for another great battle. Abby, then Chris.
I said this could be like some point in time of the Crusades.
Excellent. Right, so the reference to the Crusades is the Holy War between Muslims and Christians.
And also, I mean, with the historical context, I put Crusades, which is the war between religions, and so I put all 3 monotheistic religions, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish, because they're fighting over the Holy Land in
Great.
Jerusalem.
Very good. Aaron, fill up
Being
that.
the Crusades, it was probably somewhere in the first or second crusade.